In 2015, Holiday World would build Thunderbird at the park. But what if the park decided to go with a B&M Hyper instead? Today we are asking and answering that question and what the future could have been if the park decided to do that instead of building the wing coaster known as Thunderbird. Before we continue today, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and like button so people just like yourself will be able to see this video as we try to model and beat the YouTube algorithm. But let's go ahead and continue with this. This is a new series here for Midwest Coaster fans. We hope that you enjoy it, and kind of got the idea from the Marvel show What If. It kind of gave me a little bit of an idea of a new series to do here on Midwest Coaster fans. But let's go ahead and dig into this. So in 2015, Holiday World would build Thunderbird, which offered an in-the-house B&M in-the-house launch. And it's a wing coaster built by B&M. It costs a whopping $22 million for the park. And it's located at an end of the park that doesn't have as heavy of traffic as a lot of the other areas of the park. And the question remains, was the investment a smart investment? Obviously, it's a really popular wing coaster, one of the most popular wing coasters out there, probably listed as people's top. So obviously they did a great job on that. But what happens if the park decided to build a world record-breaking B&M Hyper coaster instead? It would have cost them around the same amount, maybe a few $1,000,000 more, and they probably would have had more returns on that. They could have still utilized the terrain here, and also they could have still utilized some cool features, maybe a launch out of the tunnel instead of a lift hill, so they could have still had the first B&M in-the-house launch. But maybe that in-the-house launch is what gave it the $22 million price tag. But B&M makes very reliable B&M Hypers, and for the general public, which obviously Holiday World is aiming towards, not roller coaster enthusiasts, even though, you know, during Hollywood Nights they do appeal to the roller coaster enthusiast crowd. But I think a B&M world record breaking B&M Hyper would be really cool, and you could have made it the tallest in the Midwest, utilizing the terrain just like Thunderbird does, and maybe using the old Pilgrim's Plunge station that it goes in and out of, so that it's not just sitting there static. And then that area around it could build up with additional rides and attractions. People would actually storm to this area of the park, and they could add more things like food choices, flat rides, things of that nature. And this area of the park where Thunderbird sits at now would be a lot more busier, and you'd see a lot more expansions. Now, obviously, the water park has paid off more than the dry park has, and that's why we're seeing more additions with the water park. Obviously, a lot of people in the summertime want to cool off, stay cool. They're not really looking to ride a lot of roller coasters during the day. So I've always begged the question on why Holiday World doesn't stay open more at night, because the night rides on their coasters would be one of a kind. And I think you would have the best world-class experiences. And I'm not saying Thunderbird was a bad, addition. Obviously, it's a great addition. But I think a B&M Hyper, like I said, would have attracted the not only roller coaster enthusiast crowd, but also the general public. And all you had to do is, compete with Raging Bull over at Six Flags Great America, and also Diamondback located at Kings Island. And they could have easily done that because you would have made it a terrain coaster. You made it the world's longest. Now, Diamondback offers a lot of good options, a lot of good airtime, but B&M could do a lot more now. Obviously, if you haven't been on Mako before over at SeaWorld Orlando, Mako offers a lot of different airtime turns and a smooth experience, and it's one of my favorite B&M Hypers, and I think they could have done the same over at Holiday World. And like I said, it would have been a better expansion, in my opinion, over in the Thanksgiving area, and it would have led to more attractions. Possibly we would have saw another family coaster by now. I don't know if the investment actually paid off, because it was a $22 million investment, and maybe that's why we haven't seen an additional roller coaster, because obviously it's been 6 years since another roller coaster was built. And obviously in 1995, you had the addition of Raven. 2000 was Legend. And then obviously 2006 was Voyage. So, and we saw, 9 years in between that and the next coaster as they made more water park investments at the park. But I wonder if Thunderbird wasn't built and a B&M Hyper was built, if we would have saw more investments, like I said, in the drier area of the park. And we possibly could have, obviously we would have saw, more of a popularity on that side. And that is quite a track too. And begs the question on why they haven't added any type of transportation there, an expansion of maybe the railroad, where it would go through the different lands of the park. But that's for a different video on that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think a B&M Hyper would have been better than Thunderbird? Obviously, some people love wing coasters. Some people don't think they're as thrilling. Obviously, Thunderbird adds that launch part, and then you have the couple of inversions, and then obviously the roll towards the end of the ride. But do you think that a B&M Hyper would have made for a better experience at the park? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and please stay tuned for our next video in the series. We're going to ask the question on our next video, what if Six Flags bought Kings Island instead of Cedar Fair? So stay tuned. That's going to be next Sunday's video. And again, thank you for watching the new What If series here on Midwest Coaster Fans. And until next time, this is Chris signing off. Thanks again for watching.